Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. So today I am doing a BarBri Law Preview review. So for anybody that doesn't know, BarBri Law Preview is exactly what it sounds. It's for 1Ls or anybody considering law school really or anything like that. It's a preview of what your first year will be like and what law school will be like. I did it online and I did not know this, but apparently I am, this year's online, this was the first year that they did an online law preview from a live campus. So they have these at, I think, 18 or so schools across the country where they host them over the summer. Some schools, like a couple in New York and stuff like that, host them, like 3 of them over a summer and stuff. So they host quite a few, but only in certain locations. So this is the first time they've done it online, and I did the online course. So what you get with that is a schedule. This is the syllabus. This is for each day, everything you'll go over. So we got an overview of all the major subjects: contracts, torts, constitutional law, criminal law, civil procedure, property, and legal writing. And then we also got a LexisNexis online research training. That's what, yeah. And then we also got a bunch of academic success tactics, I think is what they call it, success tactics. So half a day or a few hours on briefing and case law analysis, outlining different things like that. We all got mailed a course book. So the course book has everything, a bunch of cases, just relevant info, ways to study, all that kind of stuff. Everything you will be learning about and everything, you know, this is your course book, just like a normal class. We were also given a research and writing PDF for the workshop, and I went ahead and had it printed, as well as the case briefs that they give you for some of the cases you'll be reading. So I had all of that printed because I like seeing things on paper, and that was just my preference. So I went to Staples and had them print that for me. And then there was also an online or a PDF version sent to us of the LexisNexis research training session workbook. So I just printed that at home because I knew I was going to write on it and stuff, and there was no need to keep it nice looking, but if I can keep things nice looking, I do. So anyway, I also just used a notebook to take notes. Nothing special about my notes, and I'll tell you more why later. So what I'm going to get into is kind of the pros and cons of it, and then what I thought was what I would recommend. So and that's obvious. This is not sponsored. This is not, I haven't gone through 1L, so I don't know how this will affect my first year, but this is just my impression of what it was like, and what I think, or what it's done for me when I'm only a few weeks away from school. So let's get into it. Good morning. It is about 9:40. Today is Monday, and I started my BarBri Law Preview live online course today. I got up with time to shower, have breakfast, and all kinds of stuff, or so I thought. Turns out I forgot about the time difference, and I got up in time to start almost on time. So I was a few minutes late, so I look like a wreck. I was on break, and the class just came back, so I will be back with you. Okay, so for the pros. First of all, the academic success was, all the academic success portions were amazing. They made me feel not necessarily so much better, like, oh, I'm totally going to do this, even though I do feel a little bit like that. But they made me feel less unsure. Okay, so I guess my biggest thing about going into law school is that everyone has all this advice, like, oh, it's going to be really hard, and oh, this is what you should do, this is what you shouldn't do. But no one explains to you why. So yeah, that's great, that study tactic worked for you, but like, how do I know it's going to work for me? How do I know what anything's going to be like? And for me, that's the scariest part. So the academic success portions, the case briefing, the analysis, the outlining, And especially when, well, example study schedules. So they don't tell you exactly how you should be studying. They tell you these techniques will help you learn these specific things. These other things, you're going to have to work it out. But this is the amount of time you should more than likely be devoting, unless you're brilliant with a photographic memory. And even then, you probably still need to study. So that was really helpful for me, because even if that study schedule isn't exactly what I do or anything, I now have something to work off of, something to expect, something to just help me figure it out, you know? And I loved it. I loved getting a sample study schedule and when to start studying for finals versus, you know, when to just be focused on what you have to do for tomorrow, and how far ahead you should get and how far ahead you shouldn't get, and all those kinds of things. Those kinds of tips were so helpful to me, because other students can give you that advice, and of course ask other students for advice, but that works for them, and you never know how they did. You never know if this is actually good advice. So it was just helpful to see that, and something that was like tried and true, and well, hopefully, you know. So a lot of really amazing tips. And then of course the classes themselves on the individual subjects were really, really good overviews. So I have taken some intro courses before because I was in a paralegal program, and the overview I got was totally different because I needed to know different things. So I was really worried about how that would be, and then of course what class was going to be like. Everybody's afraid of cold calls. Everybody's afraid of just what school is going to be like because of all the things you're told about it. And so it was really good to get like that broad overview and experience what class was going to be like. The other thing that was great was the preview course book has a ton of cases, a lot like the case books will be for 1L. So it was really good to know how long it takes me to read these cases and how long it took me to brief the cases. And then I had sample case briefs to kind of compare, and then of course we went over them in class. And so it gives you a really good handle on what it takes for you personally to get this work done. And I think that is probably one of the most invaluable things that I got out of this course, although all of these things were really invaluable. But that was one of the just most amazing things, because now I'm a little more prepared for what that'll be like for me. And I mean, the instructors were amazing too, so that was really helpful. They were all really engaging. Even the topics that everybody says, oh, this is really boring. This is going to be really boring. You're really going to hate this. I didn't feel like that about any of it. So I really enjoyed them. So those are my pros. Okay, so for the cons, the first one is that this was the first online course. So of course with any online course, especially a live one, there's going to be issues. There's going to be sound issues, there's going to be internet issues. It's just a given, that's part of the world. But it was the first live one, so it was a little kind of like, okay, what do we do? How do we fix this? Like us on the computer side. You don't have a ton of information when you're out here and there and there. But I will say they got all of those issues whenever they came up fixed so quickly. They did really well. I mean, was it flawless? No. But I thought, considering it was the first time and it was online and it was live, I thought it was great. Also, all of the sessions are recorded, so you can see them later for a little bit of time. You can't download them, but you can download all the slides. So it's just like getting a lecture, and it's great. They even eventually added, I think on like the third day, because we kept asking, hey, can you go back to this slide? Hey, can you go back and ask this question? And, you know, they'd moved on. We're on a delay. So it was really difficult to get that done. So they put in a way for us to rewind and fast forward. Well, not fast forward, but go back to live and pause it and those kind of things. So when I had to get up and go to the bathroom, I could actually pause it. Something the in-class people didn't have. But, or when my dog was annoying me because he saw that I was home on the computer instead of with him. Things like that. So that was really great, and I love how quickly they did that. But, you know, would it be better if it weren't an online course than had I been in person? I don't know. So that's kind of why I put it in the con section, is that could it have been better? Probably, but to me that's just an online program problem anyway. So I don't know, it's a little bit of both, I guess. And then the other con, of course, is that if you aren't a good online student normally, you won't necessarily be a good online student for this either. I personally don't typically take online classes. I've done quite a few of them. I don't enjoy them. I'm always behind. It's just not the best option for me. Would I have done this in person instead if I could? Yes, because I learn better in a classroom. I just do. I learn better on paper and I learn better in a classroom. I don't know if that just makes me old or what, but that's how I am. So it's just something to think about. You know, if you're not a good online student, there's no shame in that, and you don't have to be. But if this is the only way for you to take it, like for me, then, you know, you get what you put into it. So you've just got to remember that. And then, of course, because like I said, we're on a delay and there's, you know, 100 to 200 to 300, I really don't know how many people were taking online, but there are quite a few questions from the online group and not very many in person. And then we're on a delay. So we actually had less interaction. We couldn't ask as many questions and things like that, but we did get the recording, so we could go back and verify anything that we needed to verify. So it was a little difficult, not necessarily, I mean, it was a little bit difficult that you couldn't ask every question that popped into your head the way you can in class because you're not in class. So that was a little hard, but of course there's a but, right, to every con, because it really was a good course. So, but all the professors would say, email me, let me know if you still have questions when this is over. This is an overview. It's hard to answer all the questions. There's a lot to get through. All that kind of stuff. So the fact that they still wanted to say, or they still wanted you to contact them and say, hey, I still don't know what you were talking about when you said this, is great. So many of them said, you know, let me know if you don't understand. Send me an email. You know, we'll figure it out. And I think that's awesome. Obviously, they're not a resource to have during the school year. You need to contact your own professor. But for them to say, I know this class is over, but go ahead and email me, I mean, it's not their responsibility to make sure we know every part of the overview, but that they would do that, I think, is pretty amazing. So that was, I guess, another con/pro. But for the most part, I really didn't have any other cons. I mean, some glitches, some issues, things like that, but really it was structured really well. And for it being the first one, I think it went so amazingly.
2 conclusions? Really? 2 conclusions? Isn't that hedging? Yes.
Okay, so for my final thoughts, I really truly recommend this course for anyone who's scared, skeptical, nervous, really has no idea what they're getting into. A lot of people go into law school and haven't really studied the law, political science, those kinds of things. Yeah, but no one's really studied the law. So it's really good to have these overviews, and it's really great that you have them with professors who want to make it make sense for you. And the other thing you have to remember, though, of course, is that this is an overview. They aren't going to teach you everything you need to know. If anything, you'll walk into your actual class and just have some like familiarity. You know, at the beginning I was taking notes vigilantly and stuff, and then I realized my professor is going to teach this to me however they want to teach it to me. So what I absorb is great, but what I need to know will come from my professor, which they tell you throughout the whole thing. If your professor says this and the law dictionary says this, your professor is right. So when I kind of started to grasp that, I realized like this is just a chance for me to get a taste of all these things. I will probably never go back and look at these notes except for the ones on academic success, because that's what won't be taught to me. So that, you know, that's just kind of how I decided to get through it. They are grueling days because you go from like 7, well, this was in Atlanta, so 7 East Coast time to 5 East Coast time. So for me, that was 6 to 3. long days, but so worth it. I thought they were worth it. And of course, if this just isn't your thing, or maybe you're like, I can't do all of that, BarBri has other options. Okay, so this is the BarBri website, and if you go to 1L and you go to Law School Prep Course, this is what you get. So I'm just going to show you the pricing and enrollment really quickly just to show you options. I feel like it's wrong to show you this kind of video and not give you your options. So they have a few. Obviously, like I said, it's pretty pricey. They do cut prices at the beginning, so I kind of got a deal and I got on a payment plan just to kind of give you an idea of how I did it. So the online workshop just mostly does the academic success stuff without the legal writing. So the academic success, like I said, is what I feel was what I can take away from it, while everything else was just amazingly helpful in getting that information. And then, of course, it goes up in price. So this is a 5-day course. This is the live stream, and this is the actual live course at a law school somewhere. So for the most part, except for this one, they all have the same thing. The BarBri Mastery Package is actually a ton of videos on every subject that they offer. So it's really, really great to have. And you can just get the BarBri Mastery Package somewhere in here you can get just that. And so this is a good idea too if you want to look into that. You also get free study aids with any, like either the online course like I took or the live one, just so that you know. And of course, a job portal employment profile is awesome. But yeah, so these are your options. And of course, you know, like I said, specific schools have other things going on and stuff, so that's it. And if you want to learn more, of course, go to the BarBri Law. This is specifically Law Preview website, or just barbri.com. Will give you everything they offer for even past 1L. Be sure to check those out. I will show you a couple, or just a little bit of it, like a brief overview, and you can see that. But they have their own options, and they have really great things that you can do with them and stuff like that. The online course doesn't just come with this stuff and the PowerPoints and stuff. It comes with a lot more. So, you know, none of it's very cheap. They do offer scholarships for specific schools and students and stuff, so definitely look into that too. But this is a really good way to get to know what you're getting yourself into. I loved it. I'm excited. I feel a little bit better about starting law school, and I don't know, I recommend it if you can do it, you know? So yeah. Okay guys, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and leave a comment if you have any questions or suggestions. And as always, check out my blog for additional information or just other things that I might post about this channel, which is linked below. Thanks again.